So friends, we were discussing about various technology measures which Government of India has taken in order to enhance the farmers facility and agricultural credit at the various level. So we see that there was application of artificial intelligence, application of drone technology, application of RFID by taking satellite images, application of mini chromosomal technology by taking chromosome of various plants and enhancing the information hidden inside the chromosomes. Then there was RFID which can be used for traceability of particular crops, adding information about the crops. Next part is smartphones, use of phones which GPS and smart camera that are controlled irrigation system from phone or computers. Then next part is vertical farming, improving the farming methodology at the hilly terrains areas. So there is vertical farming which have wonderful possibility of crop yield and overcoming problems related to limited land area. Next is Internet of Things, which again a part of this data, that is IoT, can be used to monitor soil moisture, water meters, rainfall, weather stations. Next part is robotics, which can be used for the distribution of agriculture crops, sowing season and harvesting season, which has a great application. So all these technology measures are a part of agriculture modernization and improving the farmer's yield, productivity, and improve the risk that are incurred by uncertainty of monsoon. So remember friends, this is very important for prelims and mains point of view. Now what are the initiative taken by Government of India has the information and protection of weather, market price, dealer information and plant information data. Further, government added the geospatial information by ISRO Bhuvan. We see that there is a Bhuvan platform by ISRO, and further the addition of Kisan Suvidha app, so that is again Kisan Suvidha app and Bhuvan app in order to look into the weather condition. So भुवन का उपयोग कहाँ हो रहा है? वेदर कंडीशन एंड क्लाइमेट मॉनिटरिंग. Now Indian Council of Agriculture Research also provide Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which provides particular training for certain kind of crops, rice, pulses, and introducing of various kind of plantation agriculture and also various seasons and season based changes for the crops and productivity. Then technology assessment and deconstruction for the application TADA CD, that is again a part of modernization of agriculture. Next part is Kisan Vikas Kendra, which organizes demonstration and training for the crops that are to be shown inside various seasons, that is in Rabi season what crops to be done, how much of water should be provided, what irrigation techniques that can be used in terms of modernization and improving rural youth and in-service extension for the personnel. Last is the eSegu app. Remember it for your prelims that it provides expert suggestion to farmers with the help of internet and audio visual communication. So government has launched eSegu app. इस ऐप के द्वारा किसानों के पास अगर मोबाइल फ़ोन है then they are getting direct video call services on which there is a video training, communication modernization and end-to-end connection about the agriculture, about the crops, seed variety, what fertilizer and pesticide can be used, and all such technologies of the agriculture can be learned in the eSegu app. Now next part is the hydrogen cell by coal. So hydrogen is a new technology and very high combustible range and green energy. For green energy, so where is hydrogen fuel used? There is a huge emission of energy, that is a part of hydrogen technology. First of all, there is development of hydrogen from air by combustion from coal. कोयला को जब burn किया जाता है in open air then carbon is liberated and oxygen is liberated, then formation of CO2 is there, then heat carbon dioxide is formed, CO2 बनता है मित्रों, and that CO2 is leading to gasification, then carbon monoxide is formed and then carbon plus carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide is formed, and this monoxide is lead to water gas shift. Look how hydrogen is eliminated from a monoxide. So hydrogen is separated by application of water. So CO plus H2O leading to carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. So finally we get hydrogen at the end. Then it gets for hydrogen development at a larger level, which can be used for a fuel at various plants, at various steamers and various kind of energy utilization sources. That hydrogen is used in aviation sector, in spacecrafts, and again in the vehicles which are at speed racing system. So ऐसी जगहों पे हाइड्रोजन एज ए फ्यूल यूज करते हैं. Next part is the development of hydrogen under different categories. So hydrogen produced by using electrolytes and electricity is called as green hydrogen, which has a zero carbon emission. By emitting zero carbon and green technology, carbon is produced. The next part is turquoise, that hydrogen produced by thermal turquoise and green carbon is produced. Next is the yellow carbon, that is carbon produced through hydrogen is a yellow carbon that is used to generate electrolysis by electricity, and electrolysis generation leads to creation of electricity. Next is the blue carbon, which is grey or brown hydrogen, which again a part of creation of hydrogen at basic level. Next is a pink, purple, red electrolysis of hydrogen as a chamber of electrode nuclear power that leads to generation of hydrogen. Again black. Then hydrogen at a white level that produced by byproduct of industrial process. Then last is the brown carbon that is generated during the brownfield projects as a part of emerging technology. Remember this fact for your prelims point of view, very important. Now the empire of Gupta temple has been in news. That is 5 main kind of empire: square building with flat roof, shallow porch. Second part is elaborating a first type of addition form of ambulatory at a sanctum, Bhumara in Madhya Pradesh, and other Parvati temple at Nachakunthara, Madhya Pradesh. Then third is square temple with low and square tower, Shikara and Nachakuntara temple in a Panchayatan style. So किस प्रकार का ये मंदिर है? पंचायतन स्टाइल का है. Remember this for art and culture, paper 1. Then it has 4 corners making total number 5 and a shrine inside the temple. Now it is also found in Devghar, Dasavatara temple, Dashawatar मंदिर देवघर में हम देखते हैं. That is a part of again a brick temple at Bhitagram, Kanpur. And there is a Kalvenir tower in Shikhara, Nagara style temple, and it has succeeded the third stage of temple. Next part is the rectangular temple with an aspiration black and barrel evolution roof. Then Kejara, Krishna district. Fifth type of temple is a circular temple with having an addition of the 4 cardinal faces. Circular temple with 4 distinct cardinal faces that leads to say Senjara and Maniyar Mutt and Rajgir temple in Bihar. So Maniyara Mutt, Rajgir Bihar में ऐसे circular temples found किए जाते हैं. So these are very important for your prelims point of view. So added in your current affairs. Now what are places in the news across the world? We see that Cyprus was in news for museum underwater. Second is Iceland, which falls short of becoming European nation, to have a female majority. Third is Faroe Island with 4,000 dolphins inhabited at the traditional hunting practices. Fourth is Myanmar, with China opened first road rail transport link with Myanmar. And fifth is the Greenland, which makes the news for scientists having discovered new world northernmost island in the Greenland. Sixth is the Tunisia, Najla Borden Rodum, PM of Tunisia, first as the Arab world has developed a Najla Borden Rodham. Then in Afghanistan we see that Taliban claimed the Panjshir Valley Afghanistan, Taliban government has captured the Panjshir Valley, which is part of Himalayan range. Then in Egypt, we saw the planning of New Cairo and Cairo city. Singapore receives trial of patrol public areas. Then in Japan, we see Japanese PM announces a party leadership ending in terms of PM. In Philippines, we see Apo Island of Philippines becoming the first zero waste island. Then in Red Sea, Israeli Navy has stepped into the Red Sea area, which makes the news. In Sri Lanka, we see that delegated economic emergency because of forex crisis in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has zero forex level, तो Sri Lanka चाइना और इंडिया से लोन ले रहा है. Then Syria have captured by Israeli attack and declination of ISIS के terrorism group की problem चल रही थी सीरिया में, and that is destroyed completely by Israeli army. Then Greece is having a form of climate crisis ministry, first of all in the world that is having a climate crisis mantralaya, that is in Greece. The next part is Guinea, a military coup dissolved the government of the day, and Serbia is having a position of territorial integrity and sovereignty over Kashmir and Kosovo. Now next is Burundi, which makes rising level of Lake Tanganyika, which is a lake of 1 lakh people around the Burundi area. Next news is Canary Island, which having Cambarvija volcano and La Palma Island, which makes the news. Now next part is places in India which are in news. First is the Ladakh, that is National Institute of Mountaineering and Allied Sports was organized at Ladakh. Through team completed a Mount Coon expedition. So Coon mountain का expedition के लिए team भेजा गया नीमास के द्वारा, and there is high power transmission for Doordarshan All India Radio at Hombotingla. कहाँ पे? Hombotingla in Ladakh having high power transmission. Then in Arunachal Pradesh we are having Parshuram Kund, that sanctioned under Prasad scheme. What is Prasad? Pilgrimage rejuvenation for the utilization. So pilgrimage rejuvenation scheme. And in Assam we see that Rajiv Gandhi name from Orange National Park has been eradicated and removed completely. So new name has been provided to the Orange National Park, that is Orange National Park. And tripartite agreement between Karbi Anglong and other groups is made in Nagaland. So Nagaland having Bogodia forces and forcing the AFSPA. नागालैंड में AFSPA लगा हुआ था, आर्म फोर्सेस स्पेशल प्रोविजन एक्ट, and it prohibits various kind of groups, any kind of organization to take part into the protest movement. So IPC 144 लागू थी और वहाँ पे कोई भी ग्रुप्स प्रोटेस्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं. That is part of AFSPA. In Meghalaya, Kongthang village having Whistling village and best tourism village award. Then in part of Odisha, we see that crocodile was in news, and why it was there? That having a 3 species of crocodile, that is a saltwater crocodile and ghadial and magar. So 3 varieties of crocodile: ghadial, magar and saltwater crocodile is there. Now next part of news is Himachal Pradesh having world's highest electric vehicle charging station. So electric vehicle charging के लिए 3800 मीटर से काजा और स्पीति वैली में एक इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल चार्जिंग स्टेशन बनाया गया है. Then in Haryana we see that 8 degree critically endangered oriental white black vulture has released into wild for the first time in India from Bir Shikagram Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, and next comes from the Pondicherry has Eden Beach get International Blue Flag certification. Then in Tamil Nadu, which announces Dugong's Park Bay, first conservatory for the sea cow. We read in this new discussion which Kovalam beach gets a international blue flag certification. That means it again remains a protected area for the fisheries and the fishes as well as the marine animals. So under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972 first schedule, there is no encroachment of animals and fisheries in that zone. So all places become very important for your news. Now some personality that were in news also, that is Ministry of Culture has launched a book Geeta Govinda on Jayadev, Jayadev's Divine Odyssey. So Jayadev Bhakti period के important person थे. In 12th century he was a Bhakt of Lord Krishna at Jagannath Puri. He also wrote a Geeta Govindam, and which praising of Lord Vishnu by poeting an harmonious version of all the sects in the part of Bhakti movement. So he was also gifted a poetry of devotion to Lord Krishna. Then Florence Nightingale, she was called as the lady with the lamp, and she was one of the enlightened person which came into India with a vision to make Indian population more and more civilized, education and harmony in the system. So she was a nurse. So the Indian Nursing Council has provided grant for the Florence Nightingale, and International Nursing Day is celebrated around the world. May 12 in anniversary of Florence Nightingale. Then philanthropy and compassion was the motto of Florence Nightingale, which is part of village neighborhood. She tirelessly devoted her life to preventing diseases, ensuring safe and compassionate treatment. Next is Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, who worked for the women empowerment, reducing age of marriage, age of consent, temple entry, and worked for the education of various sectors of society. So it was a pillar of Bengal Renaissance, and he worked for the widow remarriage, विधवाओं के पुनर्विवाह के लिए उन्होंने प्रस्ताव रखा था. He also married to a widow woman himself, and he wrote the publication of Tattvabodhini Patrika, Som Prakash, Sarva Shubhankari Patrika, and Hindu Patriot. So these were asked in the UPSC previous year question. Again very important for your film's point of view. And his work include Barno Porichaya and Bangla Itihas, Jeeva Charita, Betal Panchasi, and Shakuntala. Now, what are the vision and social reform? So he does a colonial reform in Bengal, fight child marriage, and challenge the deep stigma against women remarriage and widows. He also held the women for 35 schools and provided education. Now next is Madam Bhikaji Kama. So a lady with knowledge and power to change the society. She fight for the women right against the British Empire, and she put for the International Socialist Congress held at the Stuttgart, Germany in 1907. She first unfurled the flag of India in 1907 in Germany. भारत के झंडे को इन्होंने जर्मनी में फहराया था in 1907. Remember this fact for your prelims. Then she also held a Lata Hardayal launch in revolutionary paper Bande Mataram, and she also take part as a Venhan to support the gender equality. महिलाओं के समानता के अधिकार के लिए भी इन्होंने संघर्ष किया. Then she also worked for patriotic and indomitable spirit. She worked so hard for the independence of India, for the women rights and development of Indian society from its milieu. Then last is the Theosophist member from in 1921 Association of Kashi Vidyapit. Then Kashi Vidyapit is the first Indian university founded by Indians, and he was also a civil literate and also nationalist and progressive person. He believed in the education for all, that means universal education, which is again added in post-independence period in the Constitution of India, Article 21A. Now next is Dhari Singh Dhinkar, born in Simaria village of Bihar. He also was a significant literate, national poet, brave model and bad Gandhian, and he was elected 3 times in the Rajya Sabha after the independence of India. He was also provided the Padma Bhushan award. Now, Ramdhari Singh Dhinkar has a patriotism and humanism kind of view. He also provided a humanist poet. He wrote many poetry for national praising and the humanities which are lacking in the societies, for human virtues, values and the moral sentiments inside the human values. Now, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay was added in the Sangh thinker, founded Bharatiya Janata Party. He was again integral to the humanist philosophy. He wrote the Panchjanya newspaper and Daily Swadesh paper. He wrote Akhand Bharat Kyon, Rashtra Chintan and Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Further, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay was a humanist and social reformer. He worked for the deprived section of society. He worked for Indian culture and he believed in the idea of democracy, that is Loktantra. And last is the lady with a vision, that is Manorama Mohapatra, which was a eminent literate, social worker and Odia daily writer, and the writer from the Sahitya Academy Awards 1984, Soviet Award 1988, Critics Circle of Indian Award 1990, and Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar Award in 1991 and Ravindra Award in 1994. क्या हुआ? चलो खत्म करें. So we were discussing about the factors that were ladies, personalities and various people who were contributing to the India's social upliftment and reforming the society. They make the part of the news. So there was Florence Nightingale, that was called as a lady with the lamp, and she was a lady with good knowledge, and Indian Nursing Council has granted the Florence Nightingale Award in recognition to the healthcare workers. कोविड-19 के टाइम में जो भी हेल्थ केयर कर्मचारी काम कर रहे थे उन्हें फ्लोरेंस नाइटिंगेल अवार्ड दिया गया. नाउ इट इज़ कॉल्ड एज द लेडी विद द लैम्प, एंड इंटरनेशनल नर्स डे इज सेलिब्रेटिंग इन द नेम ऑफ फ्लोरेंस नाइटिंगेल ऑन 12th May every year. Remember this fact, very very important. Now last is the philanthropy and compassion. Florence Nightingale was full of service delivery, compassion and virtues to deliver the services to the affected people of society. So she saw a village and tirelessly delivered her service to the village and rural people of India in working to the poor and suffering people. Then Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar, which makes the news, was an educator, social reformer and a philanthropist. So he started a movement for the child remarriage, widow remarriage, and he also edited the Tattva Bodhini Patrika. Further, Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar worked for the upliftment of lower caste students. He also used to have teaching in his school as a principal to the backward people, and he also edited Tattva Bodhini, Som Prakash, Sharba Shankini Patrika and Hindu Patriot. He was also included in Barna Porichaya and Betal Panchisi, Bagalar Tirtha, Jeevan Charita and Shakuntala, Mahabharata, Setarvana and Ram Patrika were all his magazines. So Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar has vision about the independent India, social reform and women equality. Further, he also made a widow remarriage plan under which he himself married to a widow lady. So catering the stigma of bride burning. So उस टाइम क्या होता था, सती प्रथा होती थी and female who were facing challenges were burnt alive. Now next part is Madam Bhikaji Kama, who makes the news, is Indian national flag. First version of Indian national flag unfurled in the Germany Stuttgart city. जर्मनी के स्टुटगार्ट में 1907 में मदाम भिखाजी कामा ने एक फ्लैग को अनफर्ल्ड किया, एंड दैट इन्फ्लुएंस द sustainable punchcrust and suffrage movement. Bhikaji Kama was renowned for the supporter of gender equality. Then she also moved for the patriotism and women equality, women empowerment and women education. She also worked with the Egyptians and the other leaders of French socialist and Russian leaders for women development and empowerment. And 1912 there was a theosophist who started a non-cooperative movement and also take part in the foundation of Kashi Vidyapith. Then his ideas were nationalist and progressive. So, Chittaranjan Das was a very important leader for the development of India's movements. Now, Ramdhari Singh Dhinkar was a nationalist, a leader and a poet who was born in the Simaria village of Bihar, who was also propounding the Veer Rasa poetry, and he was called as a Bal Gandhian. So, he has held the title of Rashtra Kavi. उन्हें राष्ट्र कवि का दर्जा दिया गया. He was provided 3 times membership of Rajya Sabha. He was provided with the Padma Bhushan award. Then Ramdhari Singh Dhinkar was having philosophy of nationalism and humanism. As a humanist poet, he also chose to write various kind of poetry. Then Deen Dayal was in news as a thinker, co-founder of BJP, body-mind complex, Rashtra Dharma politician, edited Panchajanya and wrote Delhi Swadesh. So his books written by Deen Dayal Upadhyay was Chandragupta, Jagat Guru, Shankaracharya, Akhand Bharat Kyon and Rashtra Chintan, etc. Then his philosophy was humanism and social reform. He worked for the integral humanism and social reform for the backward section of society. Then Manorama Mohapatra was a lady with the knowledge, and she was a ODR daily writer and editor. She was also awarded various kind of prizes for her contribution in the society. She granted Sahitya Academy Award in 1984, Soviet Nehru Award 1988, Critics Circle of India Award 1919, and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar Samman 1991, Rupam Bara Award in 1994. She also wrote several books such as Juar Jaunet Utthe and Aradhya Saraswati, Vaidehi Visarjita, Shangamitra Samhita, Shakti Rupina and Sanstita. She was also a various knowledgeful scholar, and she was a propounder of women emancipation and women empowerment. That is why she was being held in the prizes and various kind of awards. She was also a prolific writer through her contribution in the issues of women. So, ending this version of news affair for the month of September, I conclude this lecture by making a hope that you guys are working hard for your prelims and recognizing all the facts, figures and ideas that we are discussing in the lecture. So, be focused, just revise, repeat and propound this all the matters, facts and figure. Thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.